Nobody saw the small human girl pick herself up from the floor. Nobody cared. The laughter of the Dracarys students echoed down the corridor as they walked away, their scaled tails swishing with satisfaction. Lily Webb collected her scattered books in silence. A data pad had cracked when it hit the ground. She would need to pay for that from her small allowance. She did not complain. She never complained. T16 years old, Lily had learned that silence was safer than speaking. She had been at Galactic Unity Academy for 6 months now, and every day was the same. The alien students mocked her. The teachers ignored her. She sat alone, ate alone, and walked these halls like a ghost. The academy floated on Station Harmony 7, a place where the children of diplomats and warriors studied together. Species from across the galaxy sent their young here to learn and build connections. Humans had only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. To most aliens, Earth was a joke, a primitive rock full of primitive creatures. Lily entered her classroom and took her seat at the back. The chair was too large for her small frame. Everything here was built for bigger species. Professor Van, a tall insect-like creature with 4 arms, began the lecture. Today's topic was planetary classifications. Class, we will discuss Death World species, the professor said, pulling up a holographic display. These are planets with extreme conditions. High gravity, dangerous predators, toxic atmospheres, violent weather. An image of Earth appeared on the screen. Earth is classified as a Class 12 Death World, one of the most hostile environments that has produced intelligent life. Snickers filled the room. A Dracary student named Kel turned to look at Lily. He was 8 feet tall, with black scales and golden eyes. His kind were considered the galaxy's greatest warriors. Dragons, humans might call them. Doesn't look very dangerous to me, Kel said loudly. His friends laughed. Lily kept her eyes on her desk. After class, another human approached her in the dining hall. Priya Desai was born on a colony world, raised among aliens. She was friendly and bright, everything Lily was not. Hey, Priya said, sitting across from her. I saw what happened this morning. Why don't you ever fight back? Report them to someone. Lily poked at her food. It's better if they don't notice me. They already notice you. They notice you every day when they trip you and mock you. It's different, Lily said quietly. Trust me. Priya frowned, but did not push further. She talked about her classes, her friends, her plans for the weekend. Lily listened and nodded at the right moments. When lunch ended, they parted ways that night. Lily sat alone in her small quarters. The room was bare. No decorations. No personal items, except for one faded photograph hidden under her mattress. She removed her baggy jacket and stood before the small mirror. Her reflection showed a thin girl with brown hair and tired eyes. It also showed the scars. Dozens of them covered her arms, her back, her shoulders. They were not from bullies or accidents. They were from something else entirely. Training, survival, years of being forged into something the galaxy had forgotten humans could be. She touched a long scar on her forearm. A memory surfaced. Snow, blood, a creature 3 times her size. Her grandmother's voice saying again. Lily pushed the memory away. 3 more months, she whispered to herself. Just 3 more months, and I'm done here. She put her jacket back on and went to bed. Across the station, in the administrative wing, Director Vornash received a classified transmission. The Sylphian was old and had seen much in his long life. But as he read the message, his green scales turned pale that he pulled up a holographic image. A small human girl with brown hair and tired eyes. They sent her here, he whispered. What has the council done? He read the file attached to the message. Most of it was blocked, classified at the highest levels. But what little he could see made his blood run cold. Subject, Web, Lily classification, Guardian protocol, active threat assessment, extreme special instructions, do not engage, do not provoke, monitor only. The director had run this academy for 40 years. He had taught the children of emperors and warlords. He had never been afraid of a student before. He was afraid now that he looked at the image again. Such a small, quiet girl. She sat alone at lunch. She let other students push her around. She never raised her voice or her hand against anyone. But the file told a different story. A story of a planet that bred monsters. A story of humans who remembered what they truly were. A story of a girl raised not to live among the stars, but to protect them from what the director did not know. But he suspected he would find out soon enough. He closed the file and sat in darkness for a long time, wondering what kind of storm was coming to his peaceful academy. In her quarters, Lily slept. But her sleep was not peaceful. She dreamed of fire and snow, of a grandmother's stern face, of battles fought in wilderness that would kill any soft creature from the civilized galaxy. She dreamed of what she was. And somewhere in the dark spaces between stars, something ancient stirred. Something that remembered humans. Something that had fled from them once. Long ago, was coming back. And it was hungry. The combat training hall smelled of sweat and fear. 50 students stood in rows, waiting for their turn to demonstrate basic defensive techniques. Most were excited. Combat class was a chance to show off. Lily stood at the back, tried to make herself invisible. Webb. The instructor's voice cut through the hall like a blade. He was a Torvian, a species with 4 arms and gray skin built like living stone. You missed the last 3 sessions. Get down here. I'm not feeling well, Lily said quietly. I should go to medical. You look fine to me. Front and center. Now. Lily walked forward slowly. Every step felt heavy. She could feel the eyes of every student on her back. She heard whispers and soft laughter. The instructor looked around the room. His eyes landed on Kel, the Dracary prince who had made Lily's life miserable for months. Kel, you will demonstrate with the human. Kel grinned, showing rows of sharp teeth. He stepped onto the training mat, towering over Lily like a mountain over a pebble. His black scales gleamed under the lights. His tail swished with excitement. Try not to break her too quickly, someone called out. The class laughed. Lily stood still. Her hands hung loose at her sides. Her eyes were fixed on some point beyond Kel, beyond the room, beyond everything. Begin, the instructor said. Kel moved fast. Dracary were known for speed that most species could not even see. His clawed hand swept toward Lily's head with enough force to shatter bone. It hit nothing but air. Lily was no longer there. She had stepped aside with the smallest movement possible, like water flowing around stone. Kel stumbled past her and crashed onto the mat. Silence fell over the room. Kel stood up, his golden eyes now burning with anger. He attacked again, faster this time. A combination of strikes that would have impressed any warrior. Lily moved through them like smoke. She did not block. She did not strike back. She simply was not where his attacks landed. 3 times he came at her. 3 times she redirected him with a gentle touch that sent him tumbling. The instructor's expression changed. First there was amusement, then confusion, then something that looked very much like fear. Kel roared. His pride was destroyed. His reputation was crumbling in front of everyone. In his rage, he did something forbidden. He opened his mouth and breathed fire. Students screamed. The instructor shouted for him to stop. But the flames were already racing toward Lily, hot enough to melt metal. Lily moved through the fire. She did not go around it. She went through it, her body twisting between the streams of flame with impossible precision. Before anyone could understand what was happening, she had grabbed Kel's snout with one hand and slammed him into the ground. She held him there, her small hand on his massive jaw, her eyes calm and cold. The room was silent. Even a fire had stopped. Kel struggled but could not move. This small human girl was holding down a Dracary prince like he was a misbehaving puppy. Sorry, Lily whispered. Then she released him and walked toward the exit. Nobody tried to stop her. The instructor locked himself in his office and made an urgent call to people he had hoped never to contact again. Students pressed against the walls as Lily passed, giving her space for the first time since she arrived. Priya caught up with her in the corridor. Lily, wait. She grabbed Lily's arm. What was that? How did you do that? Lily kept walking. I told you. It's better if they don't notice me. Notice you? Everyone noticed you. You just beat a Dracary prince without even trying. I know. Lily's voice was tired. Sad. That's the problem. She pulled her arm free and disappeared into her quarters. Priya stood alone in the corridor, her mind racing with questions she did not know how to ask. Meanwhile, on a Drackery warship 3 systems away, High Warlord Draken received a report about his son's humiliation. His advisors expected rage. Drackery honor demanded blood for such shame, but Draken did not rage. The ancient dragon sat very still on his throne, his massive form frozen like a statue. He was old. He remembered things younger Drackery had forgotten. "Describe the human again," he said quietly. His advisor repeated the report. "Small, female, brown hair, moved through fire, defeated his son without throwing a single strike." Draken dismissed everyone. He sat alone in the darkness of his throne room for hours, thinking about stories his own grandfather had told him. Stories about why the Drackery conquered the galaxy but never touched one small blue planet. Stories about what humans really were. Not the soft colonists the galaxy knew now. Not the friendly traders and diplomats who smiled and bowed. The other humans. The ones who remembered. He thought about his son, young and foolish and proud. He thought about sending a warning. About telling Kel to stay away from the human girl, to treat her with respect, to never provoke her again. Then he thought about what that warning would cost, the questions it would raise, the fear it would spread. He decided to wait and watch instead. After all, one small human girl could not be that dangerous, could she? Fear spreads faster than fire. Within 3 days, the entire academy knew about the human girl who had defeated a Drackery prince. Stories grew with each telling. Some said she had broken every bone in his body. Others claimed she had done it blindfolded. A few whispered that she was not human at all, but some kind of demon wearing human skin. Lily noticed the change immediately. Students no longer laughed at her. They moved out of her way in the corridors. They avoided her eyes. They spoke in whispers when she passed. She hated it. Priya found her sitting alone on an observation deck, staring at the stars. The human colony girl sat down beside her without asking permission. "You've been avoiding me," Priya said. "I've been avoiding everyone. That's not new, but now you're avoiding me more." Priya crossed her arms. "I thought we were friends, or at least something close to it." Lily was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. "Do you know what a death world really is? A planet with dangerous conditions. High gravity. Predators. That sort of thing. That's the textbook definition." Lily turned to look at her. "The reality is different. A death world doesn't just have danger. It creates survivors. It takes ordinary creatures and forces them to become something more. Generation after generation, only the strongest live long enough to have children. Earth is like that. Earth is exactly like that. But humans left Earth. We spread across the stars. We built soft colonies with controlled environments. We forgot what we were." Lily paused. "Most of us forgot. But not you. Not me. Not my family." Lily pulled up her sleeve, showing the scars on her arm. "I grew up in the reclamation zones. After the collapse, parts of Earth went wild again. The old predators came back. The land became hostile. My grandmother raised me there." Priya stared at the scars. "Your grandmother did this to you? She trained me. There's a difference." Lily's voice was flat. "She would take me into the wilderness with nothing. No food, no weapons, no shelter. I had to survive. If I failed, I got hurt. If I failed badly, I almost died. That's horrible. That's Earth. That's what humans were before we became civilized." Lily looked back at the stars. "We're death worlders, Priya. Real ones. Not the soft colonists the galaxy knows. The aliens who settled space forgot what we actually are." Priya wanted to argue. She wanted to say that humans had evolved past such brutality. But she remembered the combat class. She remembered how Lily had moved through fire like it was nothing. "Why are you here?" Priya asked. "Why come to this school if you're so different?" "I didn't have a choice. People made decisions for me. Powerful people who think they own me because of what I am." Bitterness crept into Lily's voice. "I'm supposed to hide, pretend to be normal, wait until they need me." "Need you for what?" Before Lily could answer, alarms began to scream throughout the station. Red lights flashed. A voice announced emergency lockdown protocols. Students and staff ran through the corridors in panic. Priya grabbed Lily's arm. What's happening? They found a crowd gathered around a display screen in the main hall. A news broadcast was playing. The anchor, a blue-skinned humanoid, spoke with barely controlled terror. The Galactic Council has confirmed that a massive fleet has emerged from dark space. The ships match no known design. Analysis suggests they belong to a species thought extinct for 10,000 years. An image appeared on screen. Ships of twisted metal and dark organic material. They looked wrong somehow, like they had grown rather than been built. The hollow ones have returned. Gasps filled the room. Some students began to cry. Others stood frozen in shock. Everyone knew the stories. The hollow ones had consumed 12 civilizations before they vanished. Entire species erased from existence. Worlds stripped of all life. Priya turned to Lily, expecting to see fear. Instead, she saw something else. Recognition. Understanding. You knew, Priya whispered. You knew they were coming. I suspected. Lily's voice was cold. This is why they sent me here. This is what I'm supposed to stop. How can you stop that? You're one person. Lily did not answer. She watched the screen as the fleet of nightmares grew closer to civilized space. Millions of ships, billions of the creatures that had haunted galactic memory for 10,000 years. She thought about her grandmother's words, about the prophecies the old woman had taught her, about why humans like her still existed when the rest of their species had grown soft. Someone had to remember. Someone had to carry the old strength, because someday the galaxy would need monsters of its own. Lily turned and walked away from the crowd. Priya called after her, but she did not stop. She returned to her quarters and locked the door. For the first time in months, she opened the hidden compartment beneath her bed. Inside was a photograph of her grandmother, and beneath that, wrapped in old cloth, was something she had hoped never to touch again. Armor. Black as night, made from materials the galaxy had forgotten how to create. She did not put it on. Not yet, but she looked at it for a long time. The hollow ones were coming, and somewhere deep inside her, something ancient began to wake up. Kel found her 3 days after the news broke. The academy had become a prison of fear. Parents demanded their children be evacuated. Teachers held emergency meetings. The whole station felt like it was holding its breath. Lily sat in an empty classroom, staring out the window at the stars. She heard the Dracary approach, but did not turn around. His heavy footsteps stopped a few meters away. I'm not here to fight, Kel said. I know. He moved closer, keeping a respectful distance. The arrogance was gone from his voice. In its place was something she had not expected. Curiosity, maybe even a little fear. My father told me stories when I was young, Kel began. Tales to make hatchlings behave. About a species even Dracary fear. About creatures that could not be killed. That never stopped hunting. That turned our own tactics against us. He paused. I thought they were just stories. Lily finally turned to look at him. They weren't about us. Not the humans you know. No, they were about humans like you. Kel sat down on a desk across from her. It creaked under his weight. What are you? Lily was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. Do you know how humans became the dominant species on Earth? We weren't the strongest. We weren't the fastest. We had no claws, no scales, no venom. But we had something else. Intelligence. Endurance. Lily met his golden eyes. Humans are persistence hunters. We chase our prey for hours. For days. Other animals run faster, but they tire quickly. We don't. We just keep following, walking, waiting, until whatever we're chasing collapses from exhaustion. Then we kill it. Kel said nothing. We survive wounds that would kill any other species. We adapt to any environment, any temperature, any situation. We bond with anything, even our predators. We tame them. We make them our partners. Lily stood and walked to the window. And when something threatens what we love, we don't run. We don't surrender. We become the thing that monsters fear. Why did your people grow soft then? Why did they forget? Because forgetting was easier. Being civilized was more comfortable. Building colonies with controlled climates and safe food and no predators. Lily touched the glass, watching the distant stars. But some of us remembered. Some of us were trained to remember, in case the galaxy ever needed true Death Worlders again. Kel absorbed this. His grandfather had told him that Dracari conquered the galaxy because they were the strongest warriors ever born. Now he understood the truth. Dracari conquered the galaxy because they left Earth alone. Because some ancient Dracari had been smart enough to know which battles could not be won. The Hollow Ones, Kel said. Can you stop them? Maybe. Probably not alone. The door opened. Director Vornash entered, his scales pale with stress. Behind him came a holographic projection of a Galactic Council member, an ancient archivist with too many eyes and not enough expression. Miss Webb, the archivist said, the Council requests your assistance. The Hollow Ones have sent a message. They want a human. Specifically, a human of the old bloodline. They will consume every other species until they get one. I know what they want, Lily said. They want to finish what they started 10,000 years ago. They fled because of humans like me. Now, they want to make sure we're gone forever. Then you understand why we need you to act. Lily laughed. It was not a happy sound. You need me? Where was the council when my grandmother died during training? Where were you when I was locked in a facility for 2 years being prepared like a weapon? Her voice turned cold. You made me this way. You used my family for generations. And now you want my help? The alternative is extinction, the archivist said calmly. For all species. That's not my problem anymore. Lily walked past them toward the door. The director moved to block her path, but one look at her eyes made him step aside. Priya was waiting in the corridor. She had heard everything. Lily, you can't just walk away. Watch me. People will die. People have always died. Lily kept walking. I'm done being their weapon. Priya grabbed her arm. Then don't do it for them. Do it for me. Do it for the students here. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Lily stopped. She looked at Priya, at this girl who had shown her kindness when no one else would, who had tried to be her friend even when Lily pushed her away. You don't understand, Lily whispered. They took everything from me. My childhood, my grandmother, my freedom. Also, I could be useful when this moment came. I know. Priya squeezed her hand. And I'm sorry, but those things are already gone. The only choice you have now is what kind of person you want to be. Someone who walks away or someone who fights. Lily closed her eyes. She thought about her grandmother, about the old woman's final words before she died. You will know when it is time. You will feel it. She had felt it for days now. A pull in her chest, a fire in her blood, something ancient waking up inside her. I need to think, Lily said. She walked away. But this time, she did not lock her door. And that night, she took the armor out of its hiding place and held it in her hands for a very long time. Ada Webb had hands like old leather, strong and scarred from a lifetime of survival. She stood in waist-deep snow, watching her 8-year-old granddaughter face a creature that should not exist anymore. The bear had been changed by the wild radiation of the reclamation zones. It stood 12 feet tall on its hind legs. Its fur was patchy, revealing muscle and bone in places. Its eyes glowed with a sick yellow light. Little Lily had no weapons. No juice. Just thin clothes and the training her grandmother had given her. Again, Ada said when the bear knocked her down the first time. Lily got up. She dodged. She moved. She found the pattern in the beast's attacks. An hour later, exhausted and bleeding from a dozen small wounds, she led it into a frozen river where the ice broke under its massive weight. She dragged herself back to her grandmother, shivering. Good, Ada said. It was the highest praise she ever gave. That was Lily's childhood. No toys, no friends, no moments. Just survival, just training, just preparing for a future she did not understand. Now, lying in her bed at the academy, Lily remembered every lesson, every scar. Every night, she cried herself to sleep wondering why she could not be normal. Her grandmother had explained it once, during a rare moment of softness. Our family has carried this burden for generations, Ada said. We are guardians. When the galaxy forgot what humans could be, we remembered. We kept the old ways alive, because someday, something terrible would return and Earth would need defenders. Why us? young Lily had asked. Because someone has to. And we were strong enough. But strength came with a price. Lily lost her parents before she could remember them. Lost her childhood to training. Lost her grandmother when she was 12. Ada had died during what should have been a simple exercise. A fall. A broken bone. An infection that spread too fast in the wilderness. Lily had carried her grandmother's body for 3 days through hostile territory to reach the extraction point. The council's response had been clinical. Acceptable losses, they called it. Ada Webb had completed her purpose. Young Lily was ready for the next phase. They took her to a facility. Underground. Secret. There she trained with others like her. Children from guardian families across Earth. They learned to kill. To survive. To become weapons. Lily escaped when she was 14. She lived wild for 2 years, hunted by council agents who wanted to bring back their investment. Eventually, they caught her and made a deal. 1 year at a normal school. 1 year pretending to be ordinary. Then she would fulfill her purpose. She had agreed because she was tired of running, tired of fighting, tired of being alone. Now the Hollow Ones were here, and the galaxy expected her to save them. The same galaxy that had used her family for generations. The same council that had called her grandmother's death acceptable. An explosion rocked the station. Lily was on her feet instantly. Alarm screamed. Emergency lights painted the walls red. Through her window, she saw something that stopped her heart. A Hollow One ship, twisted and wrong, had attached itself to the station. Creatures poured through breached corridors. They were nightmares made flesh. Bodies stolen from consumed species, warped and broken and hungry. Screams echoed through the communication system. Students and teachers ran in panic. The station's defenses were failing. Then Lily heard a voice she recognized, Priya, screaming for help. The signal came from a section that had already been breached. Lily did not think. She did not weigh options. She did not consider the cost. She just moved. The hidden compartment opened. The armor waited inside, black and ancient. Beside it lay a blade that seemed to drink the light around it. Both had been in her family for generations, passed from guardian to guardian. She put on the armor. It fit perfectly, as if it had been made for her. Because it had been. Guardians did not just train their descendants. They prepared equipment that would be ready when the time came. The blade felt right in her hand. An extension of her arm. A promise of violence. Lily looked at herself in the mirror. She did not see the scared girl who sat alone at lunch. She saw something else. Something her grandmother had spent years creating. A weapon. A monster. A human. She opened her door and stepped into chaos. Creatures filled the corridors. Students huddled in corners, crying. Bodies lay where they had fallen. A Hollow One soldier saw her and charged. It had once been something else, some other species, but now it was just hunger and teeth and claws. Lily killed it before it took 3 steps. She moved toward Priya's signal. More creatures came. More creatures fell. She did not feel fear. She did not feel doubt. She felt only the ancient fire that had kept humanity alive on a hostile world for millions of years. The fire that made humans the scariest thing the galaxy had ever produced. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her memory. You will know when it is time. I know now, Lily whispered as she cut through another enemy. I finally know. She ran toward the screams, toward her friend, toward the purpose she had tried so hard to escape. The Hollow Ones were about to learn why their ancestors had fled from Earth. The Hollow Ones had forgotten fear. 10,000 years of consuming weaker species had made them confident, arrogant. They believed nothing could stop them. Then they met Lily Webb. She moved through the damaged station like death itself. Her black armor absorbed the emergency lights. Her blade sang through the air, leaving corpses in her wake. The creatures that had terrorized a dozen civilizations hesitated when they saw her coming. Genetic memory stirred in their twisted minds. Something ancient and terrible. A warning passed down through generations of their kind. Beware the humans who remember. Lily did not hesitate. She could not afford to. Somewhere ahead, Priya was trapped. That was all that mattered, that a group of Hollow One soldiers blocked her path. 7 of them. Each one had consumed dozens of sentient beings. Each one thought itself invincible. Lily killed the first 3 before they could react. The 4th managed to swing at her. She broke its arm and used its own claw to tear out its throat. The remaining 3 tried to run. Humans are persistence hunters. They do not let prey escape. She found Priya in a collapsed section near the station's outer hull. The air was thin. Emergency barriers held back the vacuum of space, but they were failing. Priya was alive but injured. Her leg was trapped under debris. Beside her stood Kel, the Dracari prince, bleeding from a dozen wounds but still on his feet. He had refused to leave her. "Human," Kel said when he saw Lily. There was respect in his voice. "Fear too." Lily nodded once. She lifted the debris off Priya's leg with strength that should have been impossible for someone her size. "Can you walk?" she asked. "I think so." Priya grabbed her arm. "There are more coming. A lot more." Heavy footsteps echoed from the corridor. Not the scrambling of soldiers. Something bigger. Something old. The Hollow One commander emerged from the shadows. It was massive, 3 times Lily's height, a nightmare assembled from 100 consumed species. Its voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "Little seed," it said, "your ancestors delayed the harvest. You cannot stop us alone." Lily stood between the monster and her friends. Her blade felt light in her hand. "Who said I was alone?" She activated a signal built into her armor. Across the galaxy, other guardians received it. Children of the old bloodline. Adults who had gone into hiding. Humans who remembered what they truly were. But that help was far away. Here now, she had only herself dot, or so she thought. Kel stepped forward, standing beside her. Blood dripped from his scales, but his eyes burned with fire. "Dracari, do not run from battle," he said. Behind them, Priya struggled to her feet. Other students appeared in the corridor. Aliens of various species, terrified but unwilling to abandon the humans who had shown them courage. The Hollow One commander laughed. "Insects, you think numbers matter? We have consumed civilizations." "You consumed civilizations that gave up," Lily said. "We don't give up. Ever. That's what makes us human." The battle was brutal. The commander was ancient and powerful. It had killed warriors far stronger than Lily. Its attacks were fast enough to blur, strong enough to crack the station's walls. But Lily was faster. She was human. Persistence, hunting ran in her blood. While the commander tired, she kept moving. While it slowed, she kept fighting. She was wounded. Again and again. Cuts opened across her body. Bones cracked. Blood flowed. She did not stop. Humans never stop. When the commander finally fell, Lily stood over its broken body, barely able to stay upright. The creature looked at her with something like recognition. "Now I remember," it whispered. "Now I remember why we ran." It died. 3 months later, the galaxy had changed. The Hollow Ones were retreating. A united fleet led by human commanders hunted them across dark space. Guardians who had hidden for years now stood in the open, ready to defend the species that had mocked them. Lily sat in a garden on the rebuilt station. The scars on her body had healed, but would never fully fade. Neither would the scars inside. Priya sat beside her. Kel stood nearby, awkwardly part of their group now. He had decided that being friends with the scariest human in the galaxy had certain advantages that a young alien child approached them shyly. Her eyes blinked up at Lily. "Are you the scary human from the stories?" the child asked. Lily smiled softly. It felt strange on her face. She had not smiled much before. "I'm just Lily." The child's parent pulled them away quickly, still afraid. Priya squeezed Lily's hand. "You know they'll always be afraid of you now." Lily watched the stars through the garden's dome. The same stars her grandmother had watched. The same stars her ancestors had looked up at from a hostile world millions of years ago. "That's okay," she said. "Fear isn't always bad. Sometimes it just means they finally understand." She paused. "Humans aren't scary because we're strong. We're scary because we care. And there's nothing in any universe more dangerous than a human protecting what they love." The wind moved through the garden. Priya leaned against her shoulder. Kel pretended not to notice. For the first time in her life, Lily felt something like peace. She had been hidden. She had been ridiculed. She had been used and abandoned and broken. But she had also been loved. And in the end, that made all the difference.